Okay, so I am on the way to Tiffney Funches' house, which is a really good friend of mine. I met her through my best friend. We have a mutual best friend of ours. I love them to death. Like, for years, we have been friends. And even as we, became adults, like, we stayed in contact. And I am very proud of her, of the work that she is doing and trying to do in our community with our youth. But just knowing Tiffany and seeing her growth, I just have a lot of questions. I want to understand her more. So hopefully, through this interview, y'all also get to understand her more, and I may learn a little bit about myself. And of course, because she is giving back to the community, this may also help her gain a little bit of support, or a lot of support, because she needed y'all, for real. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I don't know why I feel a little nervous. Yeah. So we'll see. Y'all stay tuned. All right. We made it. We are at Stockton Park. I realize, like, I'm very awkward.
What you mean very
But
awkward?
I do weird shit, but it works for me.
You know.
It works for me.
It's fine. Hello, good morning.
Say hello.
Good morning. Because I say good morning all day. So, like, if I haven't seen you, like, all day and it's 3 o'clock.
I feel good. Because it's early in the morning. It feels good out here. It is a little wet, but I don't mind.
It's fine.
I'm going to let you lead the way. A lot of people feel nervous at the beginning of the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, though. I mean, because it's me asking the questions,
I don't feel nervous. I guess, I don't be caring. So I be fluent. Because I like questions, so I like answering questions.
Okay.
And I like asking questions. So.
And people naturally like to talk about themselves, too. Naturally. So listen, this is and a lot of people have been asking me why I do the interview. And so I can give people that organic time to talk about themselves, because I genuinely want to know in this moment. I'm going to go ahead and, give that person that moment to do that. Because we all need it, instead of trying to impose it on people sometimes, hey. And then you learn about people, So, deep breath. All right. You are here for a 3-question interview. Now, before we do the interview, I did actually want to ask you, like, why did you want to do the 3-question interview?
I think it's dope. Yeah. I just like, first of all, I like questions. I like to ask questions. I like to answer questions. And I think it's dope. I think that's how you get the genuineness of people. Just randomly asking. And sometimes I do that a lot. Like, I do that with my students. And I'll ask just a random question. They'll be like, where'd that come from? It was a question that came to my mind. You were the person that was here.
Right.
I felt led to ask.
Right.
So, I think it's dope, and I think it's dope what you're doing, and it gives people who may not necessarily always get to be in the forefront a chance to be on a platform and share their stories, and share their testimonies. You get to kind of see the soul behind the person.
Right.
So I think that's dope.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of like how I feel, because when I interact with people, I'm the type of person where I can really feel that person's energy, and sometimes without somebody telling me something, I can feel kind of, this is what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. This is your thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's something in me that wants to draw that out of that person, so they can critically think about it. Kind of like what I do and what has helped me, but I mean, it's evident that it helps.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Tiffney Funches?
Oh my gosh. That question always gets me, because I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I do corny things. So, I'm gonna just go down and then we'll see how it pans out.
Okay.
So again, Tiffney Funches. I have a birthday coming up in December 21st. So I'll be a year wiser. I love people. I didn't necessarily think I always loved people, but I do. It's just more so building the connection with them. I have a heart for creative spaces. I love art of any form, whether it's physical, whether it's visual. I love it all. Some people call me a triple threat because I sing, dance, and act. But it's just something that I picked up, and I kind of like.
Wow, wait, what?
I just like to do it. Like I wouldn't consider myself because I have not like honed in on those crafts, you know, to a certain extent. For people to be like, oh, she's a triple threat. No, I just kind of dibble and dabble in a lot of them.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
But I do love to do it. I love more so.
I just woke up one day dancing.
You know,
singing,
I picked up
acting.
on it and I was like, oh, I do kind of like this, you know, the flow of it all. But that's just who I am. I'm an educator in my own right. I love to educate, not just on like English, math, history, but like on life, to help people, especially young people, critically think about their actions. But my favorite color is yellow.
Really?
My favorite color is yellow. It is bright. My favorite flower is sunflower. So it's bright. It gives you this energy type of feeling.
Reminds me of mustard.
Yeah. Depends on the yellow. But I do. It is my favorite color.
I can understand it.
I'm not always nice.
You know who you remind me of? Like a celebrity you remind me of is like Jill Scott. Honestly.
That's funny.
Yeah, you know, she actually said that. And,
Did she?
And if you listen to her 826 plus album, Experience album, when she's going into Getting in My Way, she has like this little monologue. Yeah, and she says that. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
But that's who I am. That's
Okay.
who I am. And I'm learning when to be nice and when not to be nice. So I'm learning how to shift that, and I'm learning to apologize.
Right. How's that going?
Anybody who knows me knows if I say I stick to it, I stick to it, and that is what it was.
Right.
If I want people to apologize to me or not hurt my feelings, then it's only right for me to be able to do that for other people.
Yeah.
And I can be wrong. It took me a long time to say that. I could be wrong. I'm not often, but I could be wrong, and my approach can be wrong.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn how to be like, okay, listen, again, I apologize, you know. So it's a transition, but I feel better when I do. I feel better when I do.
I feel like I'm going through that now, kind of humbling myself and learning how to apologize, learning when to kind of be quiet and listen instead of just trying to defend myself because I don't want to be wrong. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it.
Yes.
First question, very easy. Will you be 100% honest and vulnerable with me this morning?
Yes.
You promise?
I promise.
Okay. And the second question is, how did you get here? In this place, in this space in your life, this energy, how did you get here?
That's a loaded question.
It is. That's the point.
Yeah. A lot of breaking of self. And that itself is loaded because it could be a lot of breaking of self that I had to do for myself or that I had to go through to understand on the other end. Either way, a lot of breaking of self, and I'm a stubborn person, and I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And so when I feel like I'm wronged, or I feel like, no, that just doesn't make sense, I'm gonna say that just doesn't make sense. So that's pretty much dumb, right? So if I'm that way to people, imagine how like I am like for myself. I would be in situations that I know I really should just like let go, or like, why would you even entertain that situationship? Like, why are we doing that? And I would be on the back end like, you know better. Like, let's get it together, right? So a lot of like self-realization, like I had to, and currently still deal with certain traumas that I thought I was over. Like, surely I'm done with that. Like, surely I don't care about that anymore. And the reality of it is no, you never really dealt with it. You just put it on the back burner.
Right.
And during this quarantine, that was one of the things that I felt like God dealt with me with. I don't like to reflect. I stray away from it because if I reflect, it makes me deal with the emotions that I don't want to currently feel. So I deviate and I'll go find something creative to do, or I'll go take a ride somewhere, or I'll, just do something to distract me from what that current feeling is feeling, because it's too much to deal with at the time. So a lot of, I had to sit and reflecting. I had to go back on things that I thought I dealt with that I had not dealt with. But in doing that, I had to learn how to trust God for real. Because when you reflect for real and you deal with traumas, certain things that you dealt with, you're doing it by yourself. You're doing it by yourself. And so I had to really trust God to pull me when I felt like I was going to go too far or go too deep or dive too hard. Being humble and knowing that He really is. And one thing that I said this year that I think currently got me here is I told God at the beginning of the year, it's crazy because this year was tragic, but I told God at the beginning of this year that
where's the lie?
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? It's tragic. I told Him, no matter what this year looks like, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to be like, the things I'm going to have to endure, I'm going to walk by faith and not by sight, no matter how trashy it looked, because I understood that there were some places that God wanted me to go that I was just scared to go to. I was just scared to tap into. Like, I always knew that He wanted me to be out more in the front, but I always just wanted to be in the back. But like, no, I just help,
Right.
But I knew that He wanted me to go there, so I told Him, okay. I just said okay, but I'm gonna just do it in like how You want it done. Like, I had to humble myself and just trust that He really is, and trust that everything, no matter how painful, no matter how hard, it all works for the good. Because I trust that He put it there for me to be able to share that story at some point in time.
So it sounds like you've been just learning how to trust God. I feel that. And question number 3, my last personal question. Why don't you quit? I mean, this shit is hard.
Just go ahead with it. I don't quit because it's not about me. It was never about me. And as selfish as I could be at times, I always remember whatever I'm dealing with is never about me. There's a story that I need to share with someone. There's an experience that I need to help someone through.
Right.
There's guidance that I need to provide. And there's lessons that I just need to learn so that I can be better for the story that's not about me. And I learned that early on at a young age that whatever I do affects the next person. And what I realized is in my family, we have some things that we have to break. And I always, one of my biggest things with God was I wanted a strong family. And to do that, I have to essentially, the curses that God has already broken, because He already came and did all of that, I have to walk into them as if they are so. So that means I have to And people don't realize that doing things and doing the right thing takes energy. They think that it's just easy. It's not. It probably takes more energy to do the right thing than it does to take the bad, which is why so many people stray away from it. But that's neither. I have to do the work with my family in order for us to grow and be better. In order for me, when I have my husband and when I have my children, be able to give them not necessarily something better, because we're not. I don't have a bad family, but I just know that there are just certain things that God was like, you need to break that. Like, that's a cycle that keeps showing up. That needs to be broken. And I think as a millennial, I think this generation, as millennials, we saw a lot. We've endured a lot. A lot of our parents,
definitely.
A lot of our parents came out of the generation that was raised out of the crack babies, or baby boomers, grandparents who had to take care of them because the moms and dads, was gone for whatever reason, or just times was hard. So we saw a lot of, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. And we didn't really necessarily know how to pinpoint it, right? We saw it and we understood there was a need to change it. And so I think this generation that we share, we realized that we had to step up to the plate.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
We had to step up to the plate, because not to say that the generations before us, some of them just didn't want to get it, but they just didn't have the resources. And
it's just the process of evolution also.
Right, to get it. You got to think, their parents were to put in perspective, segregation was less than 60-something years ago. So what they were taught was totally different. First of all, they had to even learn that they have a place in society. They even had to grow to understand that. So we are fortunate enough to know the history of our ancestors. Not that I am not my ancestors, but I am my ancestors in a sense that what their strength looked like is now totally different than what my strength like. You know what I'm saying? And because of them, I'm able to do this.
10 times what they were able to do.
You know what I'm saying? So we give reverence to what their silence was golden for them. That was a strength that I'm sure, you know what I'm saying? So when you put all of that in perspective, I want to be able to make sure that my family is solid. We break those curses, we break those things, because our roots are so great.
Right.
My family's roots are so great on both sides. And I still don't know the story of both sides of my family, but I'm learning bits and pieces. So I'm like, wow, dang, oh wow, that's crazy. Right? And because of that, the legacy that we have is important to protect. It's important that I learn what I need to learn, so that I can give it plant the seed, the way that it needs to be planted, and garden it the way that it needs to. Because if not, you're gonna mess it up.
Yeah, you are absolutely right about that.
It's the questions for me.
Yeah, these are 3 questions you're gonna ask yourself. So you gotta pick. I wish I had y'all. It's okay. We know what it is.
We got the points. Ooh, describe yourself in 3 songs/albums.
I wish I could see me dancing right now.
It's really out of control. Let's see. Describe yourself in 3 songs or albums. Okay, so Riley is her rebrand name, but Amber Riley has an album out right now called BGE. No, it's called Riley, but one of her songs under there is BGE, and it's called Big Girl Energy. It's really cute, but that album specifically is I would say right now describes me, because she goes from talking about how she's just kind of basically finding herself and being okay with being single and working on herself and figuring out what that looks like. She talks about I don't want temporary love. Like, so if that's what you're gonna give me, I don't want it. She goes into this is a song on there called A Moment, and she basically is like, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of fighting this by myself. I done tried it this way, I done did it this way. Basically, God, I'm gonna just go ahead and give it to you. Like, by the time she gets to the end of the album. So Riley, that album sits with me in this season specifically. Chrisette Michele, Better album. I just love y'all. So like, that album is specifically like, okay.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a good Sunday afternoon after church, brunching type of vibe.
I've never heard of these.
Yes,
yeah, I have to listen to this.
Riley's just came out, but that album that's been out for like some years now. But yes, and then okay, so I'm gonna say this one because this is what I just been singing lately. So my cousin Shani has a song. She just released her EP. She sings gospel.
Okay.
And she has a song on there called The Love Song.
Really?
And
now that sounds dope. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds
dope. The
dope.
Love Song, and I like been on repeat since it dropped on Spotify. Like, been on repeat. And she has this part that basically says, "So glad I found love, because I know that love loves me." And of course, she's referencing love as God.
Right.
And it just sits with me. It sits with me because in this space, to your point, I'm trusting God more, and I'm learning to. I also told him at the beginning of the year, I wanted to be able to recognize when it was him for real. For myself. Right. Because I think a lot of times I would rush past blessings, like as if he had to give them to me, or just not be able to realize, like, oh, this is God. And so this year he's been helping me with that, and I'm just able to see, oh wow, that's God's love. That's God's love. So definitely those three.
All right.
Help us, Lord. Who do you pray for? Oh wow, that's a loaded question. Who do I pray for? I am. My bold move family gonna look at this and be like, "Just say it, Tiffany." A lot of people will tell me that I am a prayer warrior, that I'm an intercessor. I have experienced when I pray for things, them to a different level. I have experienced that, but I wouldn't necessarily give me that title. But I pray for everything. I pray for everybody. I prayed for my generation to be the generation that God used to get it right. I have seen people who you would not expect begin their walks and journeys with God seriously, right? I pray for our students, our schools, our babies a lot. That's probably my go-to prayer. That's probably my go-to prayer because I'm a big advocate for their winning.
Right.
And I just believe, like, if we don't teach them now, if we don't love them now, if we don't cherish them now, then by the time they grow up, who's gonna really love and cherish us? Because we're gonna need them. And people don't really take that seriously. When our kids are our future. Yeah, they really are. Like, they're the doctors, lawyers, the construction workers.
Right.
Yeah, like they are. So we have to invest in them. So I pray so much for God to love them and show them who He is, because that's who they need ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they're gonna need. I pray for my family, my friends often. I pray for my church family. I just pray in general. And I could literally be in my car by myself, vibing to myself, and I'll turn the music off and just start praying. Or I'll see something and I'll be like, and I'll just start praying over whatever I'm looking at or that situation, because ultimately I need to keep him in front first anyway. So I need to be in constant communication, but like anything and everything.
I love that answer.
That was good.
Last one.
Oh Lord, the jackpot question.
Okay.
Like,
you was struggling for a second.
No. Why I knew I was gonna get this question.
What does it say?
Do you love yourself?
Wow.
I watched your other video. I said, why I knew I was gonna get this question.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I thought you was gonna get another one that I had in mind. Go ahead.
Okay. So yes. It took me a while to answer that question because I struggle a lot with loving myself. I struggle a lot with accepting my flaws. I struggle a lot with just being me sometimes. Because I understand. People don't have to tell me because, listen, if you don't know you, don't nobody know you, okay?
Right.
And the people used to tell me all the time, like, I have a wall up or I'm hard. And I am because I don't like to break, because when I break, and it takes me a second to to gasp for air because I'm always here. So if you break me, I'm pretty much down for a little second, and I don't like doing that. I don't like being that way. So it took me a while to get here where I love me. I just dealt with a breakup. A really bad breakup for me, because what I realized after the situation was he was not physical abusive, but he was very emotionally abusive.
Damn.
And he became verbally abusive towards the latter part. And that did a lot for me, because in the moment I didn't realize that this was toxic, because we would let go and I would keep coming back. We would let go and I would keep coming back. And that was my soul tie. But that's another story for another day. but God allowed me to not demean myself.
Right.
In that space. Like, yes, he felt like he said some really hurtful things. And normally I would be crushed. And while he tainted me a little bit, he didn't break me. He didn't break me. And that has a lot to do with God working on me, loving me. And so that's why I can say it took me a minute, because I was like, do I really? I want to be honest.
Right. I appreciate that.
Honest. But I do. Not every day.
But that's what love is. Even when you love other people, you don't love them every day.
You know.
What I learned with my own depression, honestly, is I had to stop fighting against it.
Yeah. Make it worse.
I had to learn how to work with it.
Yes.
Because it's not changing. Medication, whatever, I tried it all. Weed, whatever, I tried it all. It doesn't change me.
Right.
I have to change me. I have to psych myself out. I have to talk to my own depression and be like, look, not today.
Not today. I don't feel like that.
I got shit to do. You know what I'm saying? And then there's going to be some days where my depression going to be like, all right, you done avoided me for 5 days. I done let you work. It's Saturday.
Sit down.
And you know what I got to do? You know what? You're right. I'm going to take a self-care day then. Because even though I feel depressed, I can get out of bed and do something for me.
Yeah. And if you can't deal with you, can't nobody deal with you.
I can't fight myself no more.
Right.
I'm not going to fight myself. I'm going to learn how to work with myself.
Period.
How do you feel after the interview?
Whoo, child. Those were good though. All of these were really good. It was fun. It did make me go,
Yeah.
That's a good one. But it's necessary.
I say more people should do it.
I think so.
More people should do it because it really gave you a chance to just talk about you.
Yes.
Without somebody having to always, yeah, me too, yeah, me, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You really got to think about something and say it out loud and hear yourself say it out loud.
Yes.
So you can come to terms with it. So that's what therapy is really supposed to be.
Pretty much.
So you can come to terms with it, hear it out loud, so that I'll be like, oh, that shit sound crazy. Huh.
Probably shouldn't.
Maybe I should. That's why I'm paying you. That's why I'm paying you.
That might not be a thing I should
You know, exactly.
You right, friend.
Exactly. And I also want to say this. I am proud of you, of the work that you do in our community. You've been talking about this since we were teenagers. And to see you do it just shows me that it doesn't matter. Start small. Get your foot in the door somewhere and just keep pushing. Keep pushing because we pushing with you. Every day of the week. Not just Monday through Friday. I'm talking about Monday through goddamn Sunday. Because it's 7 days.
It's 7 days.
7 days.
7 days on.
You feel me?
And
for real. And we also got to plug your article that just came out. I mean...
Yes. Duval Connect in the house.
Yes.
Duval Connect in the house.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So it started with the editor-in-chief her name is Candace Smith. She's ran a lot of different magazines, from Fat Talents magazine. She has another Connect in Pasco County called Pasco Connect. And so the idea is to just be in the know about what's going on in Duval, hearing thoughts of people in Duval, whether it become Black Lives Matter, whether it be about mental health, whether it be about the holidays are coming up, just anything. So we got everything from positive to everything from thought-provoking conversations, and just keeping it 100 in our authenticness and who we are and what we do. So it's a group of ladies right now. We are always looking for wonderful people, but it's a group of ladies who are amazing and who have some very strong thoughts, very strong opinions, and I believe it's going to rock.
That's what's up.
So that's what's up.
Well, y'all definitely go check that out. I want to say I love you and thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all be blessed and remember, keep pushing because we pushing with you.
We always pushing.